Have you ever used a fire extinguisher? If you suddenly discovered a fire, would you know how to use one? Hey, in this episode of the Boat Galley podcast, I'll tell you exactly how they work and give you a few warnings. This is Carolyn Sherlock. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about today's sponsor. Are you looking to refinish your boat's teak with a minimum of mess and fuss? Well, I've got the answer for you. Teak Guard's non-toxic water-based formulas for cleaning and finish will turn your teak from dingy to sparkling in no time. It's what I used on Barefoot Gal, and I absolutely love it. It is gorgeous and was an awful lot less work than I expected it to be. Use coupon code BG20 for 15% off your order of $50 or more. Visit teakguardproducts.com and admire your teak with less maintenance. Says one of their happy customers, you're right. It is the best product for teak on the market. Okay, let's talk about fire extinguishers. In 2004, we were in a marina in La Paz, Mexico, and all of a sudden the man on the boat next to us yelled out, "Do you have a fire extinguisher? I need it now." He had an electrical fire and was so flustered that he couldn't remember how to use his. He basically forgot to pull the pin on it, and he thought it wasn't working. Before you ever have an emergency, make sure that you have plenty of fire extinguishers on board. There's no specific number that you need. Coast Guard has a minimum requirement, but what you want is probably higher than that. There should be one in every sleeping area, in the engine compartment, or just outside of it. And if you can access the engine from two sides, there should be one on each side. You need at least one in the galley and in any other major areas. You want to make sure that you will never be trapped by fire and not have an extinguisher on hand. As I said before, you really almost certainly want more than the law requires. On Barefoot Gal, law required 2, we had 6. Next thing is, make sure you know how each of the mounting brackets work. Don't just look at it. Actually take the extinguisher out and replace it. We discovered that several of our brackets worked extremely hard, needed some lubrication. Had we not taken them out, we would not have known until an emergency. Finally, figure out how to use them. They almost all work the same way. Check the instructions on yours just to be sure. First, you pull the pin. Almost always have to break some sort of a seal so that it doesn't accidentally come out. And the pin can be fairly hard to pull, so be sure to have a good grip on the extinguisher so it doesn't slip out of your hand and into an inaccessible place. Next, aim the nozzle at the base of the flames. You need to put out what's burning, not spray the flames. Try to get the foam within 6 inches from the burning material. You can stand back further if needed, but get the foam as directly on the basically at the base of that flaming material as possible. Then you squeeze the handle to spray the foam, and you sweep back and forth over the fire to put the foam over the entire burning surface. Now, here's the big thing to know. A regular size fire extinguisher has only 7 to 10 seconds of spray. So you've got to have it in the correct spot before you squeeze the handle so you don't waste an ounce of it. If possible, take extinguishers from other locations or even other boats if needed to put out the fire completely. People, time after time, are shocked at how quickly a fire extinguisher is empty. And the one time we had to use one for an electrical fire, we were also, and that was actually after I had written about how quickly they're depleted. I mean, on one hand, I knew it mentally, but as we were in the middle of the emergency, it sort of hit us again. We ended up going through 3 of them that day. 3 other quick tips for you here. First, always try to keep an exit at your back in case the fire becomes too large and you have to evacuate. Second, even if the fire appears to be out, keep a close eye on it as you're cleaning up for several hours afterwards in case it reignites. And third, have your extinguishers recharged or buy new ones as soon as you can, like hopefully the same day, if not the next day. Okay, that's it for this episode of the Boat Galley podcast. I hope you never have to use your fire extinguisher, but should you, I hope that this podcast made it so that you used it effectively. Please subscribe so that you'll never miss an episode. Tell your friends about us, leave reviews, whatever you can. Let's spread the word.